Hey everybody, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. I'm so glad you guys are back here with us for another episode. Today we are going to be making a little birthday feast for Mark because his birthday's in a couple of days, but it's the weekend now, so I'm just going to prepare it. What we're going to be having is barbecue chicken on the grill, and also we're going to make some mac and cheese, and then I'm going to make some sautéed spinach. So it's really going to be an easy dinner, and I just love cooking on the grill. That's one of my favorite things to do now that we have a grill and everything. And it's a lot healthier too to eat that way as well. So, but the mac and cheese, I mean, that's going to balance some things out too. So anyway, we're going to get right into the mac and cheese. I've already cooked my macaroni noodles over here, my pasta, and I just rinsed out the stock pot that I used for the pasta. We're gonna make our sauce right in here. So you can use whatever kind of cheese really you want for your mac and cheese. I know everyone likes to make it a different way. I have here some Velveeta and some Gouda. I also have some milk, butter, we've got salt and pepper. I have American cheese too, maybe if I want to throw a little bit in there. But this is what I'm going to start off with. Also, you're going to need some flour to make a roux. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start off on about a medium temperature on the stove. I'm going to start off with about a knob of butter. We're going to start off creating our roux. If you're not familiar what a roux is, it's basically just a thickening agent for sauces. It's often used in a lot of sauces. So once this melts, I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons of of our flour. And you're going to want to cook your flour and your butter mixture for at least 2 minutes before adding anything else. Because you can't consume raw flour, you can't consume raw flour, so we have to make sure that this cooks out before we add anything else. We want to give it time to cook. I'm going to add in a little bit more butter to this. We're going to be adding in more butter too after a roux whenever we're making the sauce as well. This is just for starting out. And like I said, you can switch up the cheeses if you want. If you don't like, the kind of cheeses I have here, you can definitely do this like all different ways. I mean, I know people, they just use whatever they have on hand. White cheddar mac and cheese is really good. Gouda obviously is good. Basically what you want is, and I've made a video, I believe I made a video before on making mac and cheese. And it's really, really simple. You just basically need a flavored cheese and a melting cheese. If you just wanted to use Velveeta, that's fine too. But if you want a little bit more dimension in your mac and cheese, just to have a little bit different flavors going on, then at least use 2 different cheeses. So usually you'll have a good melting cheese, and then you'll have a good flavored cheese. So that's why the Gouda is going to give us a little bit more flavor as well. And then the Velveeta is going to be more like a melting cheese. Alrighty, so our roux is looking really good. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. Okay, so once it starts to bubble up a little bit, you can see it ever so slightly just bubbling up here. Just keep stirring it a little bit. I'm going to let it cook for just 1 more minute. And then we're going to start adding in some milk. And then our cheeses here that we've cut. You can grate this cheese if you like, but I'd rather cut it because it's a little bit faster for me to cut it. So this sauce comes together really, really fast. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some milk. So, and I'll leave a recipe down below for you guys. I'm not really following a recipe, but I can always give you guys a recipe down below. So my milk is in. Now I am stirring in my cheeses. And this is the basic of the basic components of any cheese sauce right here. Even if you're making an Alfredo, you'll basically be doing it the same way. Once this starts to melt, I'm gonna switch over from my spoon here to a whisk, and then we're just gonna whisk in everything until it's nice and creamy. Cheese sauces tend to need a lot of pepper just to, like, you know, really give it nice flavor. So just keep that in mind. But I don't like to season it until I can taste it, because you're gonna get some flavor from the cheese as well. So as far as adding salt and pepper in, I like to do that once the sauce is actually melted and you can taste it. And then I'll season it then. Alrighty guys, so our cheese is melted. I put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. I did taste it. I'm not getting a lot of flavor right now, so what I did is I just went to the refrigerator and I have some white cheddar. I cubed that up. I'm gonna put that in here as well. Like I said, you wanna use at least 2 to 3 different cheeses, because each cheese is going to add a different component and different flavor to your sauce. So I just cubed that up. I did put a little bit of butter in here too. And you may have to put a little bit more milk in there depending on how thick it gets, just to loosen it up. But yeah, just keep stirring it, keep scraping the bottom. You don't want this to burn. It's very, very easy for this to burn, so just keep an eye on it. And then just keep tasting it until it's to your liking. Salt and pepper to taste. And like I said, you might have to add a little bit more butter and a little bit more milk just to help loosen it up. The butter gives it a little bit of flavor, and it also helps it to give that glossy look. So I actually have some Asiago too, and I'm gonna shave some of this in there as well, just because I want this to be really, really tasty. I want this to be really different, lots of flavor. If you're going through the process of making something, you might as well make it taste amazing. Otherwise, what's the sense of eating it if it's not gonna taste great? I'm just shaving this with my potato peeler. That's one of the ways that I've noticed that it really helps me to use these kind of hard cheeses. It's really easy to just shave it off into whatever I need it for my dish. Alrighty friends, so our cheese sauce is ready now. It definitely needed those other cheeses. I added a little bit more milk, a little bit more butter, salt and pepper, until it came up to a really good flavor. So what I'm doing now, and this is super easy, like this literally took maybe 10 minutes to come together, maybe 10 minutes, really didn't take that much at all. So what I'm doing now is I killed the heat on our stove, and I have our drained macaroni. I'm just gonna pour that right into our big sauce pot here. We're gonna mix it all up, and then I have a baking dish here to my right. We're just gonna pour it in and scrape out this pot. Now you can either, some people like to bake their macaroni. They like to put a little bit of breadcrumbs on the top or whatever sort of topping and bake that. You can do whatever you want. I might reheat it in the oven whenever it comes time for dinner, because we're not eating for a few hours yet. It's very important to try your sauce with your noodles together, because obviously that's the way they're gonna be eaten. So because I seasoned my pasta water with salt, you wanna make sure that that salt ratio is good as well with your pasta. Everybody, so here is our mac and cheese. And you can top it with cheese, like more cheese, and bake it in the oven if you want that kind of crust as well. Okay everybody, so we're starting on our sauteed spinach now. I have some avocado oil and butter in my big saucepan, my big sauce pot. I just washed this out after cooking our mac and cheese, and our butter is all melted. So I am now gonna add in a good bit of our spinach. Spinach cooks down significantly. So I'm gonna just put in a good bit here. To this, I'm just gonna add salt and pepper and some garlic. And then it has plenty of room to cook down. garlic. And then once I get this on, I'm going to pop our lid on there so it'll help it to wilt down. And then we're going to get our chicken ready for the grill. Like I said before, I'm going to do barbecue chicken. I'm also going to do some plain chicken. I'm going to obviously season it all, but some of it I do want plain. And then we're going to make a chimichurri sauce to put on the plain chicken, just so that we can have two different flavors. Since we're going through this already, and we might as well have a couple different options, especially because these are going to be meals for us throughout the week. Like I said, this is going to cook down quite a bit. Just mixing it up a little bit in with that butter and the oil. And then I'm just gonna turn the heat back on this and let this cook slow. Hey everybody, so I have prepared our chicken here. I've trimmed it up, and some of them I had to cut in half because they were too big. So now we're just gonna season them all together with the same seasoning, and then we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do some of them with barbecue and some of them are just gonna be plain with some chimichurri sauce. So I'm seasoning the chicken up here with some salt, pepper, onion, garlic powder, and paprika. If you want to put a little bit of olive oil on this, you can. I got some paper towels and tried to dry up the chicken a little bit. But whenever you use the grill, your meat doesn't have to be exactly dry like you would whenever you're searing it up in a pan. Because obviously when you do marinades, you're gonna have some form of fat on there. And then that's just gonna render off. And I think I'm just gonna mix it up a good bit, and then I'm gonna take each chicken breast and just mix the seasoning in on each one. Like I said, I don't wanna miss any spots. And we're doing this about a good 45 minutes before we're gonna grill, because the chicken is so cold right now and I want it to come up to room temperature before we grill it. I do that with any type of meat that I'm gonna cook. It helps the meat to relax since it is a muscle. And then once we cook it, it's gonna be a lot more tender. It helps to make it tender for you. Alrighty guys, I just made a fast chimichurri sauce here in my jar. I'll leave you the recipe for this down below. But basically all it is vinegar. It said to use red wine vinegar, or you can use apple cider vinegar. I've heard on a lot of other recipes as well. Olive oil, salt, pepper, some chilies or red pepper flake, and then fresh parsley and dried oregano. So, and if you need to like loosen it up a little bit, you can add a little bit of water into it. The dried herbs have to reconstitute, so you want to let this sit a little bit before you go ahead and use it. Okay, so that is good to go. And then, yeah, I'm pretty much all set up. I'm gonna start grilling whenever Mark gets home so that, you know, we can be out there.
Nothing can ever change the way I feel about you. I will stay forever close.
All right, everybody, here's the final look. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.